YouTube has announced an even bigger crackdown on what they call borderline content. They released a blog, and they also bragged about what they view as their accomplishments and their progress on this front. So let me give you some of that here. YouTube is an open video platform where anyone can upload a video and share it with the world. And with this openness comes incredible opportunities as well as challenges. That's why we're always working to balance a creative expression with our responsibility to protect the community from harmful content. Our community guidelines set the rules of the road on YouTube, and a combination of people and machines help us remove more violative content than ever before. That said, there will always be content on YouTube that brushes up against our policies, but doesn't quite cross the line. So over the past couple of years, we've been working to raise authoritative voices on YouTube, and reduce the spread of borderline content and harmful misinformation. And we are already seeing great progress. Authoritative news is thriving on our site, and since January 2019, we've launched over 30 different changes to reduce recommendations of borderline content and harmful misinformation. The result is a 70% average drop in watch time of this content coming from non-subscribed recommendations in the US. Raising authoritative voices on YouTube. Elevating authoritative sources in our system. In 2017, we started to prioritize authoritative voices, including news sources like CNN, Fox News, Jovem Pan, India Today, and The Guardian for news and information queries in search results and watch next panels. Let's say you're looking to learn more about a newsworthy event. For example, try searching for Brexit. While there will be slight variations, on average, 93% of the videos in the global top 10 results come from high authority channels. That's it. They just admitted to it. Now, we've speculated for a long time, well, hold on now, this is weird. We used to show up in the recommended box a hell of a lot more than we do, and that's how you grow the channel. That's how you spread the content, is if you go into a rabbit hole of watching like news-related content, it used to be a guarantee that at some point you're going to stumble across a secular talk video. Why? Because we release so much content all the time, and we know how to do it, where the metadata is full and all that stuff, which I won't get into the details of that. But long story short, we used the rules as they were originally set up to our advantage in the sense that, it's like outworking others, not like gaming it in our favor or anything. No, just release a lot of content, do quality content, and we know exactly how to make it so that the content spreads far and wide. Well, at a certain point, happened to coincide right around the first adpocalypse, but then it got worse as time went by, it became readily apparent that the growth rate slowed. Now, part of that was because the tremendous growth was during the 2016 election, which makes all the sense in the world. And then after that, it did slow down, but some of it was natural, so you couldn't tell how much is because it's not an election and how much is because the algorithm seriously doesn't like us. Well, now we know as a matter of fact. Guys, when they talk about borderline content, they are literally talking about me and people like me on YouTube. Because independent news and politics on YouTube, they do not trust us because they do not know what we're going to say and they can't control us. So they think we are borderline, and they want to redirect as much as possible to authoritative sources, authoritative being CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. There was a time, remember when the chemical attacks happened in Syria? I was skeptical of the narrative that the media was pushing out there. Jimmy Dore is another example of somebody who was skeptical of the narrative that was being put out there. Well, we just got word last week of an OPCW report where there are now multiple whistleblowers saying the chemical attack wasn't done by Assad. Now, all of mainstream media comes after us for questioning the narrative. They didn't even allow the inspectors in yet, and they were all like, nope, that's it. It was definitely Assad, and it's over. Wait, what? Well, at a time when he's already winning the war, he's going to do a gas attack against his own people. That is the only thing that could draw the West back into the conflict. And would you look at that? That's exactly what happened. And by the way, the guy, don't you guys remember? Assad gave up his chemical weapons. Remember when there was the press conference with the Russian guy and John Kerry, and the Russians were like, is there anything he could do to, get you guys off his ass, basically? And Kerry was like, yeah, he can give up his chemical weapons, but he'll never do that. And then the very next day, he was like, I'm giving up all my chemical weapons. He allowed the international community in, they took all the chemical weapons, and that was that. So then after they had taken all of his chemical weapons, he did a chemical weapons attack, and before the investigators even checked it, they were like, yep, it was definitely him, it's over. And all of mainstream media said, oh yeah, definitely, all Assad. Now, by the way, I'm not saying Assad's a good person at all. He definitely has blood on his hands, no doubt about it. There's a brutal civil war going on over there. It's not all puppies and rainbows and all that stuff. No, of course not. But I was skeptical of that narrative, and I was correct. Now the whistleblowers are coming out and saying, yeah, it's not what they portrayed it as. All of those videos were considered borderline content. We were right. If YouTube existed back when the Iraq War happened, all of us who would have questioned the narrative to go to the Iraq War, they would have said we're borderline content. And the mainstream media, which was pushing the war, they would have been considered legitimate authoritative content. Even though they were pushing for a war based on lies, and we would have been questioning the war, they would have said this is their Saddam Hussein apologists, they're dictator apologists. So they're not authoritative sources. Of course we should punish them with the algorithm. Of course we should, obviously. What about the DNC when they rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders? We're one of, few outlets that was going through the WikiLeaks talking about the results. And what did mainstream media do? They said, oh, we found 2 examples of people making fake WikiLeaks, and so they just brushed it all aside. It was like, nope, there's nothing to see here. It's all fake news. So think about that. If you're reporting on the facts about the DNC rigging the primary against Bernie, that would have been considered borderline content because all of mainstream media was like, nope, we're not going to talk about that because there were a few fakes, therefore the whole thing is bad. A couple bad apples spoiled the whole bunch. What are we going to do? Mainstream media has pushed for virtually every war in my lifetime. We just had Brian Williams. When they were bombing Syria, we just had Brian Williams talking about the beauty of our weapons. We just had Fareed Zakaria talking about, today's the day Donald Trump became president. And they're authoritative. They get stuff wrong all the time. They went all in on Russiagate and the Mueller report. I was skeptical all along. I was right. I said you're not going to get him on collusion. They didn't get him on collusion. But my stuff was considered borderline. My stuff was considered not authoritative. Do you see the problem here? Who's going to watch the Watchmen? Why is it CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News are considered authoritative no matter how much they get stuff wrong? I mean, listen, Fox News is authoritative? The same network that said about our first black president that he did a terrorist fist jab with his wife or whoever it was, that's an authoritative source? The network that employs Sean Hannity is an authoritative source? Are you kidding me? Fox and Friends with a collective IQ of 12? They're an authoritative source, but we're not. But they're admitting it now. They're saying, hey man, you are the borderline content we're talking about. News and politics is that genre where it's borderline content. And if you're independent, we don't know what you're going to say, so you're all the same. By the way, there's going to be no distinction between left independent, right independent, far right independent. No distinction at all. None. You're all the same. We're going to redirect as much to CNN as humanly possible, redirect as much to MSNBC and Fox News as possible. I don't usually ask stuff like this, but I'm going to. If you watch these videos, some people watch every video, but they don't subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Click the bell. Because that will, every time a video is released, it's going to immediately let you know. Because who knows how far they're going to take it? Are they going to make it, that they hide it, even if you are subscribed? In that case, I don't even know if subscribing will help. But I don't know how far they're going to take it. But I'm trying to make it so that you can know what's going on with the show as much as humanly possible. Follow me on Twitter, @Kyle Kulinski. Obviously, if anything big happens, I'll let you know there, or tell you where I'm going or whatever it might be. Click the subscribe button, click the bell. When it comes to other hosts who you like, do the same thing if they're in the news and politics genre. If you can, patreon.com/secular talk. You can give $2 a month or $3 a month. Again, this isn't just about me. If you want to give to any of the other progressive creators or non-political creators who are still somewhat controversial, please support them on Patreon as well. Just a little bit makes All the difference. Because remember, none of us trust YouTube anymore. Ever since we had that original adpocalypse where they were just like, how about we take all of your funding overnight? All of us panicked. We're like, what is this? I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't even know this was a menu on the table. I'm casually going to take all the funding. What? They've done it once. They've cut it in half. They always mess with the numbers. They're messing with the algorithm. So I don't know how bad it's going to get. I don't know if at some point we'll need to go to a new platform. I have no idea, but what I do know is they do not like independent news and politics across the board. Anybody in independent news and politics, they do not like. Because we are the borderline content they talk about. Because we are giving alternative news. We're giving an alternative narrative. Now, I'm also a political commentator. I'm not just a news guy. I give my opinion. I talk about that stuff. But they hate that. They hate that. They can't swear by the stuff I'm saying. They don't agree with me when I say we should legalize, tax, and regulate drugs. They probably don't agree with me when I say basic things like we should have Medicare for all and free college and a living wage. They probably don't agree with ending the wars. So just know that this is what's going on. The algorithm is openly discriminating against news and politics, all independent news and politics. And if you're independent news and politics and you think it's not affecting you, it is. It is. Back during the 2016 election, did you know this channel doubled in size? Doubled. I don't remember the exact numbers. I went from like 200,000 to 400,000 in one election cycle. Subscriber growth this time around is a snail's pace. We used to gain 30 to 40,000 subs a month. A month! Now we get about 10. Why? Why? It is because of the algorithm. It is because of the algorithm. There's no doubt about it. None at all. So, subscribe, like, comment, click the bell, and just spread the word as much as possible because it's frustrating. It is. It is because I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm just asking for rules that are actually free and open and fair. And it's a 100-yard dash and we all start at the same place. That's all I'm asking for. Because if you give me an equal competition with the likes of CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, I will destroy them in this medium of YouTube. Absolutely obliterate them. Obliterate them. And we were until they changed the rules. There was a time when CNN videos got like 2,000 views a pop. Now, routinely get over 400,000 views. How? How? Is it because they're good? Is it because Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer, their smug faces are all of a sudden so likable? No. It's because they're getting all the traffic from the algorithm. It redirects back to them all the time. So I think it's a terrible system. I think it's messed up. I think things need to change, but I don't think they're going to change. So I need you guys to spread the word around the algorithm, which is suppressing us.